All right, we're live, Todd. Welcome to San Diego Historical Games Convention, everybody. I have the honor of talking with Todd McFarlane today. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a creator who just didn't break the rules of the comic book industry. He rewrote the entire rule book. See the rule book connection there, Todd?
Yeah.
He's a Grammy and Emmy award winner, a Guinness World Record holder.
This talk is going to happen over YouTube.
And hang on just a minute. Let me mute something else.
Your interview again. It's going to be in the text channel right above. The YouTube channel, right, the text channel above.
Maybe I'm not muting. Oh, is that you? Is that your? Are you listening? Are you looking at the Discord?
Who, me?
Yeah. There was Discord audio coming over. I thought it might be us. So that's all right. We got. I hear Edgar's voice all the time anyway. So let me restart. How about that? We'll just do a restart, and then only the people that are live will notice that I screwed this up. But first of all, welcome to San Diego Historical Games Convention online winter quarters, and I have the honor of talking to Todd McFarlane. He's a creator who didn't just break the rules of the comic book industry; he rewrote the rules book. He's a Grammy winner and an Emmy Award winner, a Guinness Book World Record holder, and president of Image Comics, one of the three largest comic book publishers in North America. From redefining Spider-Man to creating the global phenomenon Spawn, which we see here in the background, and building McFarlane Toys into an industry titan, he's a man who understands the power of legacy. But relevant to our group and our conversation here today, he enjoys history and preservation of history and enjoys, of course, historical games. And it is... it's been my great pleasure to welcome Todd to not just this event and others, but he's been to our San Diego Historical Games Convention and was a gracious hero for all of us. So we're excited to see him here online. And Todd, thanks for taking the time to meet with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me here. I appreciate you putting on these shows, both the physical ones and these digital ones, right? I know how hard it is for fans to get to gatherings that they would like. So the airwaves are a great way to get people to be able to share their personal interest.
Yeah, I think, COVID kind of shook us all into this opportunity to meet online and I'm sure it's dramatically increased your reach, but enabled us to continue building community around the country and around the world. In our coffee this morning, we had, England, France, Germany, other countries represented.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, no, and that's the upside of digital sort of compliance here, that everybody gets to, you can even watch it and do it in your pajamas, right? So it's a great thing.
So a question related to historical gaming, if we can take you there right away.
Sure.
You deal with a lot of franchises. Of course, the big one that you created, which is Spawn, which has a tremendous amount of canon now. And Spawn has passed through a number of different interesting historical periods, including World War I. But you've also dealt with Assassin's Creed and Game of Thrones as it relates to creating figures. And I just wonder how much the canon and the rule book means to those environments. And does it mean as much as it does to us in historical gaming?
Well, I'll give you my perspective. Usually when I come in, especially on the toy side, right, because I have a whole toy company, as you mentioned, McFarlane Toys. Our job at that point, the canon's already been written, which is why people find it popular, which is why I go after the license. So usually the story, the designs, the characters, whatever it is, that's already there. My job when I come in at that point, which is a little bit late to the game, is to just get it accurate, right? So they give me the reference. I mean, people have obviously, let's say something like Game of Thrones, people have been watching it. They can watch it anytime they want. They can see it with their own eyes. They know what it looks like. My job is to be faithful to it, because if you don't, in that industry, that's when you get the emails, because they're all, we sell to for the majority, like probably 94% of our sales go to people over the age of 14. So these are people who are not buying gifts for a party for a young kid. They're buying for the most part, for themselves. And they basically want it to look like the thing that they like, whether it's a comic book or whether it's a sports show or whether it's a TV show or movie, video game, any of it. All the reference has to be nuts on.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Now, in the process of dealing with these big corporations, do you view yourself as the empire or the rebellion?
The client is always right. I learned that lesson. And the client is the one giving us their brand. I can tell you, Harold, I've done in the past 30 plus years, probably close to 1,000 different contracts. They all have their own personality, right? I could give you the best, smoothest process. I've dealt with people who make you feel like a partner to their big brand. And then I could give you horror stories where they're threatening to sue you over what I perceive, from my point of view, to be silly. But I long ago understood, Harold, that for the most part, these are Fortune 500 companies, and their obligation is to maximize shareholder profit and value every 90 days. That is their playbook. And so whenever something seems odd to me, I just remind myself, what is their one rule? Oh yeah, every 90 days, because they have to go and do reports to the public, especially if you're a stock company, right? So I long ago got over, like, there's no malice. Here's what I know, and I tell my employees all the time whenever they get frustrated. Nobody wakes up with malice for the most part in their heart, right? So there's misinterpretations. People have different guidelines. What I've found is that if you give your opponent a good education as to why you think their position isn't correct, because here's the cause and the effect, and then you give them the other reasons why you think that they should be shifting, I found that 85% of the time, once they have the education, they will change their mind, because they go, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, man. No different than playing a board game and somebody teaches you 2 extra rules. You go, oh, that changes my strategy. I didn't know that. Cool. And so it's the same thing. We just navigate, Harold. I've been navigating for 40 years with flawed human beings, myself included. And I'm never surprised. I'm not religious, but I do have one prayer I say every morning, and I hit it every day. Today will not be perfect. And I nail it. I nail it every day. So I don't get worked up when things aren't necessarily going my way all the time.
Do these, we're on figures now, but do these ideas come from the corporations, or do you take them ideas?
Well, a little bit of both. Like, for instance, we do the DC multiverse. So do they have characters in video games and TV shows, movies they've got coming up that they would suggest? Yeah. Do we know our data and listen to the fans and have our own list? Yeah. And then sometimes you just have to barter with each other and go, I'll make those 2 figures, but you let me have these 2. So right. It's being a fly in the wall in some of these meetings would be quite interesting. Let me also say, Harold, the people, like, when they see what we do, it's not really that much dramatically bigger than being a fan, right? The list of, for instance, if you were a Game of Thrones fan, I don't know if you are or you aren't, but let's just say you were. Okay, if you were, and I said, Harold, put together your top 10 figures. If you can only do 10 figures, put your list together. I'm going to put my 10 together, and then the studio is going to put their 10 together. I'm going to bet that 7 or 8 of them are the same figure. And the only ones that you're really talking about are numbers 9 and 10, right? Everybody agrees on the top 5, right? Nobody goes and veers away from it. So if you're talking about DC, then of course you're going to do Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, of course, right? And then you're dropping down to Flash and Green Lantern, and then it's only once you get past that into your number 15 or 20 character, then everybody has their personal favorites. No different than games. No different than when you pick a game, right? Here let me give you my definition of art, because I learned it a long time ago, and I think it's applicable. And I think the definition of art is, I don't know what it is, but I know what I like, which basically means you could take like 20 people, take them to the biggest museum with paintings and say, everybody go look at all the paintings, then stand in front of your favorite. All 20 of those people may stand in front of 20 different paintings. And here's the thing, there's no wrong any more than why we like our board games, right? We can have big philosophical conversations about it, but it's actually kind of closer to like why people like certain foods, right? You can't explain because it just tastes good, right? So I play, you play, I assume everybody on here plays the games that either are of interest to them, that look cool, that they have fun with, or what. I mean, it's all personal, and there's no right or wrong. So we build collections based on those personal wants and needs.
So we get a question here about customers always right, which is is it ever right to reject reject a particular customer? You don't have to tell us who it would be, but
no. I walk away from deals all the time, and there's people I won't work with. But once you've made the commitment and you're in, then again, you went in with your eyes wide open, and here we go, right? And so you hope that it's going to be way more pleasant, way more pleasant than not. So yeah. I have, look at Harold, I won't tell you the company, but it is a giant company. I'll give you like one of the crazy, silly moments. I was doing toys for one of their products, but they have different divisions. You can imagine, big giant company. And one of their products was getting moved to one of the other divisions. That other division is trained different. Division B, let's just call it, is trained different than Division A. So all of a sudden they said, hey, can you make a product that you made for us in Division A and give it to us in Division B? Because we're gonna buy gazillions of them and sell them all around the world. And I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. And so I do it, and then the phone rings. And then the people in Division B were like, what's happening? This stuff is defective. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And the reason it was defective was because all the toys are hand painted and they weren't exactly the same. The people in Division A are trained with art. The people in Division B are trained way more technical, right? And so to them, everything is exactly the same. It's almost like a clone because you manufacture, right? Think about making like a phone. Every iPhone 13 has to be exactly the same. So there can't be any variations. If the variation, defective. Anyways, eventually it got to the point where they were shouting, whatever, threatening to sue me, threatening to take all the product off the shelf, blah, blah, blah. I'm driving up to Canada. I'm a Canadian. We have a little house there. We vacation, but I had to make a pit stop along the way, and I had to sit my wife and my kids in the car and go, hey, I got to go have this meeting, of which there were 20 lawyers, and they were wagging fingers at me. And their solution, here's their solution, which is super awesome. Their solution was now to take 1 million of these products that we had made globally, somehow recall all of them, build 5 stations around the globe randomly, one in India, one in Russia, one in America, one in Brazil, whatever. I don't know where they're going to put them. Open up every single one of them and repaint the one little tiny spot that I made a little bit of a change and get it so it was all uniform. Now, I told them, if you do that, if you want to talk about defective, because there was a lot of fragile parts, you open up 1 million pieces and you train 5 different crews in 5 different countries, 5 different ways. First off, it will never look the same. I'm telling you, you can't hand paint exactly the same. So it's already a fool's errand. And anyways, but you guys go ahead. Once you repack it, you're going to get breakage. You're going to get way more phone calls. Yeah. And so they said, well, then we recall everything and redo it all. And I go, no, because you're going to miss your date. Here's what I'm going to do. I will make 100,000 extra pieces for you. If anybody has any complaint, I will send them another one. And these were expensive pieces, free of charge on my nickel. Done. I will do it to your specs, and I will make 100,000, and I will send it free of charge, no matter what. Bam. Eventually, they figured out that might be kind of the most painless situation. Okay, fine. So they signed off, the 20 lawyers. As I'm walking out of the meeting, one of my people who works for me turns and went, "Boss, you're going to make 100,000 pieces?" My answer was like, "Shit, no, we're making 10. We're making 10. I made 10, Harold, and I still got 8 of them." So there was, and I'm going to guess that the 2 people who phoned somehow found out that one guy phoned and he got one for free. So he phoned his buddy and he phoned and got a free one. But
well, you knew your customer, the end customer, better than they did, right?
They were literally going to alter $1 million for what ended up being
non-issue.
Two.
Amazing.
But again, those are the stories. Those are the calisthenics I have to do, a little bit like Matrix. You have to dodge bullets in weird ways to just make it. So, and to this day, they don't know that I only made 10. So you just get through it. You get through. It's just problem solving, right? Board games are no different. You go, I need to get from there to there, or there's my victory condition. Somebody's trying to basically block that. Somebody's trying to mess me up. The question is, I only got 2 choices. Can I figure out a strategy to get around it, or can I just mess them up in return so that we're equally messed up? Because here's an aspect of a lot of games that I think, depending on the game you're playing, Eric, we'll get back to games, that people don't know. And I think the coin series is a terrific one, which is sort of where you and I met in the very first time. Sometimes your best strategy isn't winning, it's losing the least. Yeah. This is a strategy that a lot of people, like when I play coin, they're so busy trying to be the winner that it's like, no, you just need to get close enough and everybody else has to be far enough away from their conditions. That gets you at the end still a win. You're still walk away the winner. Who cares who cares? I'm not nearly that care. I'm cutthroat. I'm going for the victory, and I'll get there any way I can get there. Right now, I'm in the middle of a game. They don't even know I'm setting a trap for them right now. They're all distracted. They don't even know the trap I'm setting because I'm playing coy really well. And at the very end, I got a couple big cards I get to pull, and I'm just going to go bam, bam. And before they even know what's going on, there's not going to be enough cards in the deck for them to basically recover. But that's okay. It's
good to know that you're that conniving. I think we'll put that in the notebook.
Harold, okay. First off, I'm a boy. I got testosterone. So put competitions already there as we come out of the womb. I've got a brother that was 11 months younger and a brother a year older. Are you out of your mind? Like everything was a competition from as far back as I can imagine. So then I just took the competition to sports, right? And ended up playing Pac-10 baseball, getting a scholarship in baseball. But even running businesses, right? Building your career, getting your game to sell, all of that is still competition because there's somebody else that wants to basically be as successful as you.
Yeah.
Right. And so you have to be your own biggest advocate in it. And so I've said plenty of times, talent wise, I think I'm maybe a 6.5 on a good day. I'm a 7.5. But hustle wise, shit, I'm a 10. Right? Like I've said before, I'm like Donkey. I'm like Donkey and Shrek, right? That there's this one scene that defines me, that Shrek comes, he's got all the fairy tale people, and he goes, we got to go save the princess, and we got to go, maybe we're going to go against a dragon, and it's going to be a little bit dangerous. Who wants to come? And if you remember the scene, in the back, Donkey, he's like, boom, pick me. And Shrek says, anybody else? Anyone? Anyone? And so who goes on the adventure? Donkey. You know why? Because nobody else raised their hand. And maybe there was 50 of them that were way more skilled, way more intelligent, like way more suited for that thing, but they did not advocate and or raise their hand. So
Right.
I'm Donkey. I raise my hand every single time when somebody asks me a question. The answer is always yes. Always yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, yeah, you know, the great Woody Hayes once said, "Nobody, there are a bunch of people as smart as me, but nobody works as hard as I do." Right?
Oh, no. Look. I coach at a high level, and I like to go to the young kids, and I go up to them and I go, "Hey, I hear you're the stud," and I like it when the kid goes, "That's me, coach. I don't care what age. That's me, coach." Because I go, okay, they got half the equation. There's two parts. You got to have confidence in yourself, and then the other one is, okay, now that he's got the confidence, I got to hit him a ground ball so he can even pick up the fucking ball, right? Like he may be like me, way more confident than skill. So I need to go, all right, let's just see if you can actually do this thing that you're in love with yourself. But I like that you like yourself. That's part of any.
That's the hard part, isn't it?
I don't know why, because it's we only get to advocate and control one human being in our lifetime, and that's us. Like,
Yeah.
why not advocate for yourself? Right? Like it's weird.
Well, baseball's the perfect sport for that, right? Because if you're a great baseball player, you succeed a third of the time at the plate, right? The other 2/3 of the time you don't get on base or whatever, right? Fail, don't get on base.
Yeah.
And then you got to go either sit on the bench or stand in the outfield and wait an hour for your next chance. So you have to believe.
No, I look at Harold. This is why I think Little League crushes people, right? Because they're like, hold a sec. 1 out of 3, and you call me good. As a matter of fact, I might be a Hall of Famer if I make it to the majors. Like you have to have you do have to have a mindset to go. I tell my kids before, when I coach them, do you know who struck out the most times in Major League Baseball history? They might not know, but the answer at the end of the day, they're a Hall of Famer. Do you know who grounded into the most double plays? They're a Hall of Famer. By the way, his name was Hank Aaron, also hit a bunch of home runs. Do you know who lost the most games as a pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball? A guy named Cy Young. They've actually got an award after him. Like, what are you talking about? I could go through every single category, and the only reason that they lead the league in it and they've got the record because they played 24 years. Why? Because they were good at other stuff. Other stuff. So you don't have to be perfect. We leave that to Jesus and other deities around the world, right? Yeah. You just have to be good enough to win your board game that day. And as a competitive guy, I don't like playing a game that I'm really good at and playing against people that aren't that good. Yeah. Because I feel like it's taking candy from a baby. And I also understand these were the first 10 times I played this game. I was the baby getting the candy taken away from them going, what's going on? What's going on? I don't even understand what's going on. And then you get punched in the face in a board game. There's only 2 things I think you do. You either go stupid game and never playing it again, or you go, I'm gonna learn this game because I will not be humiliated again. I'm gonna learn this a little bit, and then you come back and you learn a little bit, and then you get punched in the face because you go, wow, there's those rules over there. And so by about game 4 or 5, you've minimized your stupidity, if you will, and all of a sudden you go, okay. So now, especially when you're playing like Vassal and Tabletop, you're playing against people who know the game. That's why they're playing, and you're going, oh, this is going to be a good game. We're all equally skilled. Let's go, guys. Now we're just doing brain power at that point. And that's, for me, board games is that exercise for me is, can I outthink another person? That's my joy in playing those games. And when I'm playing solo, it's just, I'm curious how the system ends up working. So that's it.
Yeah, and built in with the randomness and then this problem solving.
Let me jump in one more time. Very first, I was very, 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 very new to wargaming, and about the 3rd, 4th game I bought was I've been looking at some stuff, and I bought Liberty or Death, your game. Okay.
Good choice. Excellent choice.
Yeah, was it? In hindsight, yes. I bought it. And again, why do people buy stuff? Whatever. I bought it. I'm an artist, as you know. I bought it because I thought it had the most staggering looking map I had seen at that time by an artist named Terry Leeds. And to this day, now that I have like over 130 games in my collection, I still would put it number one. It's just a piece of art, right? So I go, even if I don't like the material, even if this game's dumb, I'm probably going to play it a decent amount of times because I just like looking at it, right? Where a game like, not to pick on it, but a game like Power Grid, I can't play it because I can't look at it. It's a good game. I can't. The board makes me angry. Yeah. But anyways, first time I play your Liberty or Death, I bet I played an hour, and then I literally was angry at it because I had no idea what I was doing. I felt like I was just pushing cubes, and I'm like, this makes no sense. I mean, I'm playing solo too, so I'm trying to learn 4 at once. And I go, this makes no sense. I don't know why I'm doing a march. What's the strategy? Whatever. And I paid too much money for it, so I didn't throw it against the wall. And I like the map, so I didn't want to dent it. So I just tucked it away, and I was just like, that's it. Like, screw it. Put it off to the side. But that map, about 8 days later, it was just going, Todd, come look at me again. Come look at me. So I pulled it out again. And I still was mad, but I just go, oh man, pretty to look at. So I set it all up again, and I tried it again. And about halfway through that game, a couple things click. So now I wasn't completely lost. I was only 80% lost. And so I went, oh, so at least I know that. And then I pulled it out again. And probably by the end of the third one, that learning curve went pretty high. Yeah. It started to click. And then I went, oh, this is why I'm doing it. I'm supposed to be looking at my victory conditions and working backwards. You reverse engineering, trying to get to that. Oh, got it. Bam, 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 bam. And then each play just either reinforced or showed me that my strategy was either solid or not. Because if you play against really good people, they'll let you know really quickly. And so, I consider myself a quasi-expert in the series. But Liberty or Death is still the game I've played way more than all the other ones. So I might even be able to beat you, Harold.
Oh, no chance. No chance, Todd. No, I'm terrible at it. Mark Herman just says designers aren't good at games. He's good at his. He beats nothing out of me, but that's definitely true. So do you play? What other coin games do you like?
Dude, I've got them all.
Yeah,
I played them all. I've got them all. I can name them in order from release. I'm like a freak. I'm like a stat guy. This is like baseball. Like I'm good at numbers and stats. That's how I send myself to sleep. I start at Andy and Biss, and I go, okay, that was first. And then I never get to number 13 because I'm usually asleep by that point. Sometimes if I want to change it up, I go, okay, Todd, by the time you started collecting, they were up to Pendragon, which was number 8. So you go, just start with number 9. The next one out was Gandhi. So I go, let's go from there. Gandhi has a nice map, let me all say. Not like I would put that as number 2 of all the 13 that are there in the coin series. But yeah, I got addicted to it. And I'm like that. I just buy one thing. And then if I like it, I got to buy the whole series of everything. So
is it something in the games? I mean, is it something in this Volko set up this interesting interplay between 4 very different factions? Is it something in that appeals to you, do you think?
You could have, anybody listening right now, they would tell you the same thing. They all have personal reasons why they like it. I found very early that the hex games I didn't like.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I played them. I tried, but I felt like I was doing math. I felt like I was in a math class. Like I was always adding up my battalions and whatever else. I also, interestingly enough, I thought that I would like World War II as a theme, and I quickly found that I didn't, and maybe it's because the vast majority that I looked at early were hex games. I mean, I've got some that aren't, but okay, cool. There is a game came out recently called Werewolf that is basically porting the coin method into World War II. So it's interesting. I found that I liked World War I games better. There's something about the dog fighting of those games, you know. So just so you know, when I got into games, and I don't even know to this day why, the first 2 games I bought was Hitler's Reich from GMT and Skies Over the Reich. And my kids were horrified, going, "Dad, why are you buying games that have the word Reich in it?"
Yes.
Right? So what if my friends come over? Anyways, and I still, and again, Jerry White's games, and recently the one he did with Gina Willis, the Sky Over Britain. I like them. At some point I need to just bug them relentlessly to go, can you do it with World War I dogfighting, right? Because who doesn't want a Red Baron, right? I just want a Red Baron and play a Red Baron in a meaningful way and see how long you last, because the real guy died at like 24, so he wasn't very old. Anyway, so once I figured out that I didn't like hex games, that wipes out a lot, right? If you can imagine. And visually, because I'm an artist, you know, doing Spider-Man, Spawn, Venom, all the stuff I did at Marvel and DC, Batman. To me, I still, it has to kind of sort of look pretty. And if not, then the mechanics have to work really well. And so for me, I just want that and pushing and moving strategically the cubes, it made more sense to me. Just looking at it, I thought visually it was more interesting, and I understood it by just looking at the map like that quick. I didn't have to add numbers up, because I could add the numbers. There's 6 blocks. I can see all 6 blocks. I didn't have to stack stuff and renumber and figure out the math like in some of the hex games, because the spaces are tiny. And I just got addicted to it. So I go, oh yeah, I keep hearing, oh yeah, Fire in the Lake. Oh yeah, let me see that one, because everybody, that's the best game. Oh yeah, oh Cuba Libre, it's the easiest entry point. Oh yeah, let me see what that one's about. Oh yeah, the toughest one, Pendragon. Oh yeah, let me see if I can figure out that one. And you just go on and on and on. And now with 13, I should be an advocate for going. Now with 13, my question would be, if somebody even wanted to attempt it, I just would go, tell me what kind of games in your gaming style, what do you like? I think one of those 13 may get you there. And if not, they've got things like British Way and Vijayanagar and Just of Robin Hood. There's other ways to get you, recently Cross Bronx Expressway, ways to get you there, maybe a little bit lighter, so that you can get basically a gateway drug, if you will, to get you back up, right? Because it's too confusing. Let me also say my personal opinion, and it's like, Todd, somebody can slap me next time they see me. I think 90% of teaching videos of board games are terrible. They're terrible. If any of you guys are listening, going to make a video game, I'm just going to give you my point of view. First off, if you're going to teach me a game, I don't want to be on minute 8 and you haven't even begun teaching me the game, right? Like Rodney Smith, he's really good because he just goes, I'm here to teach you the game. Let's get to it. Boom. And in 12 seconds, he's teaching you the game. He isn't talking to you about what vacation he just came on or who his buddies were, or talking to you that he doesn't really know how to do videos and I'm not a very good teacher. Save all that. Teach me the game. That's all I give a shit about right now when I'm on this video, because I want to learn so that I can go play a game and beat somebody, right? That's the competitiveness. Everything else to me is white noise. Just get me the strategy or get me the rules. Help me with the rules. That's it. I don't care what your shirt is, who you played with, who your best friend is, what kind of spaghetti you like. I don't care about any of that. So.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have to be careful about sharing my opinions on this stuff because I want to work with everybody and I piss people off. But the other thing that bugs me are these unboxings. Have you seen these videos? Oh, yeah. Let me open a box for you.
I know.
And I'll spend about a half hour. And it's the most popular.
I used to watch some of them, but I stopped. You know what? No, I'll watch an unboxing of a game I know I'm never going to buy. Right?
Yes, because I'm not going to see the inside. Yeah.
Right, but I can't do it because I actually watched a couple unboxings of games that I bought, and then by the time I got it, I was so excited. I'd waited years sometimes on some of the pre-orders, and then you get it and you go, I already know everything that's in there. I just watched a video for it. So it took away the sort of Christmas Day event.
Oh, there you go.
Even though I'm an old man, so I go, stay away from it, Todd. Like, have the joy of opening it up and seeing the colors and everything else yourself.
Well, that's an interesting perspective, because that may be the issue, right? Yeah. That we just
why would you also tell you that like I deal with, comic books is sort of in toys, but I made my career in comic books working for Marvel Comics mostly at the beginning of my career in DC before we went and started Image Comics. But the thing that's interesting between a lot of comic book people are also gamers, and I also do stuff in Hollywood. And a lot of like celebrities, if you want to use that word, a lot of them are gamers too. It's interesting, right? Now, the vast majority, as you can imagine, Harold, they play fantasy games, right? Mm-hmm. Dungeon and Dragon type stuff or Magic the Gathering, in that vein. But there seems to be a correlation amongst sort of certain groups where we sort of overlap back and forth, which is kind of fun and interesting, because every time, like my wife and her girlfriends, they see my collection and they roll their eyes like another stupid boy thing, where their husbands come down or my comic book friends are like, oh man, what's that game do? They're instantly curious, right? Yeah. What's that game do? What's that game do? Right? Yeah. So, hey, you want to pull one out? Yeah. Okay. Hey, cool. And they've probably played a couple of them. Like they go, oh yeah, man, I played this game called Catan. You heard Catan or whatever they've played, where my wife's definition of a good game is you should laugh. So using that, I always tell her, using that definition, chess is not a good game then.
Not fun.
Yeah. So
there's nothing funny about chess.
Yeah. I'm a chess guy. I'm way more about just going, can I outthink the opponent? That's it. That's all I care about. And if I can, that's the joy. That's the joy. So
that's awesome. I come home with a stack of games usually, and my wife looks at me and says, "Don't you already have a bunch of games? You just don't get it, hon. You just don't get it."
I'm trying not to be one of those guys, because I at some point when I got to like over 100 games, I realized I was playing the same 20 to 25 over and over, and barely if ever opening up some of the others. So I've been trying to go, don't order a game unless you know you're going to play it multiple times, right? So that's why I look at all the how-to videos and all that other stuff to go, yeah, this would be a game I would play multiple times. So,
yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the con experience, because are you a founder of Comic-Con? Is that right?
No. Comic-Con
early on?
No. Comic-Con's been there forever, since I was a kid, right? My first Comic-Con I went to, San Diego Comic-Con we're talking about specifically. That was the very sort of first one with the word Comic-Con on it.
Yeah.
I was 16, drove all the way down with my dad from Canada, so I could show my portfolio. And it was in a small hotel, downtown San Diego, in a basement, in the hotel, in one small room, almost like a swap meet, like a small swap meet. And all it was at that time, Harold, was comic book stuff. It was a true comic convention. Fast forward now, eventually we outgrew that. We got bigger. Oh, there's me with Stan Lee. Big bad cool. Stan. I had the great pleasure of spending probably more time on stage with Stan Lee than any other human. I'll tell you a funny story how that happened.
Yeah.
I'd known Stan over the years because I was doing Spider-Man, and when we started Image, we would run into each other. He was a guy that had his name at the top of every Marvel comic, Stan Lee Presents. Anyways, but fast forward, Iron Man movie's coming out, and I get a phone call from one of his assistants saying, "Hey, Paramount," it was at Paramount at this time, Iron Man. hey, they're going to give Stan his own movie premiere in Las Vegas. Would you come out and be the master of ceremony? And I went, yeah, sure, cool. So I went out, and there was like basically a red carpet. They did the whole movie. They did whatever. And then there was a dinner for Stan and some of the dignitaries from the movie. And I was the MC. And, you know, if you're going to be the MC for somebody, you should probably say nice things about him, which I did. And at the end, Stan came up to me and he went, Todd, that was great. Thanks for that, my son. And I'm like, okay, thank you, Mr. Lee. Appreciate it. Cool. Done. Night's over. The next day, I happen to be in that room for some other reason. And Stan comes back in and says, Todd, hang on. And he comes running over and he goes, man, you were great last night. And I went, no, Stan, you said that last night. And he said, no, I didn't hear a goddamn word you said last night. My hearing's gone to shit. So he goes, so what people do is they record it. Then I go up after the show and after the ceremony, I go to my room, they put it on TV, they turn up the volume, and then I actually hear what was said.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got to tell you, you were great. Hey, I do shows all the time. How would you like to be on stage with me? Me and you will do it. Basically, I'm Batman, you be Robin. And again, gracious offer, Stan, I've got a day job. I've actually got stuff I got to do. But as many times as I can do it that makes sense, I'll do it. And so as you can, and part of it was that because his hearing was bad and his eyesight was getting bad, the moderators didn't really know comic books like I did, and they couldn't refrain it. And they couldn't, in a subtle way, sort of lean over like I could so that the audience didn't know he was becoming blind and deaf, right? Yeah. Eventually, he discovered this thing that we'd all been talking to him about called hearing aids, and it was a miracle to him. But for the longest time, and even after he got the hearing aids, I still did my shtick with him. So we would go up there, and I would just sort of, like you're doing here, I would just sort of lob softballs to him. And as you can imagine, that dude, even up to almost the day he died, was a ball of energy. And he had stories that could go on for days, right? It's a great thing about living to 90. You have a lot of stories to tell. So he was a super, super entertaining guy that unfortunately none of us allowed to be old. And then he got old at the end. His wife died, unfortunately, and he passed away about 6 months after her because they had been married just short of 70 years to get 70 years. You've heard those stories, right?
Yes.
One of the ducklings loses their soulmate. Boom, the other one goes out.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Stan and I would go and do silly stuff at shows all the time. So I'll write a book about it someday.
That's great. That's great. Well, that wasn't just 90 years. That was an impactful 90 years as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, conventions. What is it that you dig about conventions? It's got to be a different perspective now that you're a celebrity, but it seems to me. I watched you at the last SD HisCon when you came up with your son, and it was all people. You just loved the people. You didn't. I don't think you looked at a game. You just kept talking you loved talking to the people.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because I'm at the core, I'm kind of a homebody, right? But if you're going to go out, then do it upright, right? So Harold, I was a young fan on the other side of the table, and I met gracious, almost saintly people. And then I met some real buggers. And I never understood the buggers. I just went, I'm in San Diego. You flew all the way from New York. I liked you. Up until now, I liked you. And now you're acting rude, inconsiderate, a bit of an a-hole. And you're not just to me, to everybody says the same thing. And you go, why would you show up to be like if you had stayed home, we would still like you.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I was 16, 17, there's two things that burnt in my mind. One, if I'm ever on that side of the table, you treat them good. And I got to tell you, nobody did that better than Stan Lee. Stan Lee made the 20 seconds you had in front of him seem like they were the most important 20 seconds of his day, even though he was going to be there for 8 hours.
Even though
Right.
he's doing that 200 times.
Thousands.
Yeah.
I've done it. You recalibrate.
Yeah.
You know, you sign the book and then you go, hey, how's it going? Good. How's your convention going? Good. Oh man, I like your shirt. How's that doing? Oh, blah. And then the next person comes and then it's, hey, how you doing? Oh,
Yeah.
good. Having a good time? Yeah, that's cool. Oh man, let me see your ring. Like, and you just do it over and over. So at the end of a show, I usually, my wife doesn't come. I usually just go to my room, grab a sandwich, turn on ESPN, and just sit in silence for the whole night, because tomorrow I got to do it again, especially if it's a 3 or 4 day show. So you go, okay, again, don't pity us because we're tired from being celebrities, right? But the conventions are false positives because nobody waits in line for 2 hours to say they dislike you and they're never buying your stuff, right? It's nothing but gracious people saying gracious things. And then once you walk out of the convention, you become a schmuck, right? And you go, oh, bam, I like my small piece of celebrity because most people know the work. They don't know your face. So you can lead a normal life. I've been around big international celebrities and they can't move anywhere without everybody around them, whether it's on the street, at the airport, at the restaurant, wherever it is, without all the eyeballs looking at them all the time. They can never turn that off. That's the price that you pay for that popularity. And oddly, I know a lot of people sort of envy the money. I don't envy the lifestyle. I know some of them, they have armed guards at their houses and stuff like that. It's not a normal life. So I always thought in movies, the directors had the best job because other than maybe George Lucas and Cameron and Spielberg, most people can't name another director, or if they can, they don't know what they look like.
Right.
So we're the people in the front, Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise, like Brad Pitt, like they can't walk, right? So there's some value to me of being able to turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. So anyway, I go to the shows. The other thing I learned was give them an autograph they can read. Because I remember when I was 16, people would put their name on the comic books and I'd give them my comic book and then they'd do this scribble shit. And then I'd go, what is that? And I go, this is your name right here. I'd take the comic book out and they go, no, I just printed, but this is my signature. And I'm like, I found it offensive at 16. So I go, if I'm ever on that side of the table, however I sign on the comic book cover, that's how I'm signing it forever. And that's how I sign my checks now. That's how I sign like everything is exactly the same. So that somebody, if I sign their comic book, they can go to somebody and go, see that name? That's him right there. Why? Because they're both the same. They match. And I have had tens of thousands of people give me brownie points for that one thing.
Yeah.
Thanks for making it legible. Because otherwise, if it's just, look at the great thing about getting a scribble signature, Harold, is that you can make it anybody you want. If I get a scribble signature on something, I can go, Harold, who's your favorite actor? Whoever you tell me, I'm going, that's their name. That's them. Because you don't know. So at least if they make it legible, you go, darn it, I can't pull that trick on you.